Jason Turner, mid-20s, exudes success from his penthouse office to glossy magazine interviews praising his perfect marriage with Naomi Turner, a supportive and understanding woman. However, Naomi senses her husband's occasional distraction but dismisses it as business stress. She remains loyal, unaware of Alicia, Jason's mistress. The unexpected happens when Alicia invites Jason to her lavish birthday celebration. Jason, anxious to please her, agrees to attend. Jason decides to bring Naomi, his wife, convinced that Alicia won't suspect. Before you continue, luxury stories are where stories come alive. If you love powerful narratives that inspire, entertain, and captivate, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the magic. And don't forget to like this video and share it with friends who love great stories just as much as you do. Now, relax as we dive into today's tale. Jason Turner was only 28 yet already hailed as one of the most promising billionaires in a major African city. He owned a sleek tech company that specialized in mobile financial solutions, commanding a staff of hundreds in a glass-walled tower downtown. Photographers often snapped him attending business forums or philanthropic galas, praising his commitment to the continent's future. Beside him in these photos was typically Naomi, his elegant wife of 2 years. However, behind the glossy headlines, Jason guarded a secret. For the past 8 months, he'd been having an affair with a striking socialite named Alicia Brown. Despite loving Naomi in his own way, he found Alicia's flamboyance and nightlife allure too intoxicating to resist. He rationalized that his public image needed Naomi's classy presence, while Alicia offered excitement. This double life grew complicated. On some nights, Jason claimed urgent work sessions and hurried to Alicia's upscale apartment. On other nights, he dined with Naomi at 5-star restaurants, smiling for tabloids. If friends noticed the cracks, they kept silent, uncertain how a confrontation might affect their relationship with a powerful man. Among these friends, Denzel Moore, Jason's best man at his wedding, observed subtle changes in Jason's routine. Denzel was no stranger to the hush that fell when he asked Jason direct questions about that new friend or late nights. More than once, he quietly warned, "Jason, you're playing a dangerous game. You risk hurting Naomi." But Jason brushed him off, insisting he could keep the balance. Naomi, trusting by nature, never questioned her husband's vague excuses. She assumed his random absences were indeed work emergencies. She found comfort in the stable life Jason provided. A luxurious penthouse, fine vacations, and genuine warmth whenever he bothered to be home. Yet, she sometimes sensed an unspoken distance, like he was concealing some part of himself. Into this precarious reality stepped Alicia. She knew Jason was serious with someone but never realized the truth, that he was actually married. In her mind, the two of them were headed for something official. She told friends privately, "It's just a matter of time before he chooses me publicly." That illusion set the stage for the night everything unraveled. Alicia's birthday was approaching, and she demanded Jason attend to prove his devotion. Jason, feeling cornered, decided to bring Naomi along, hoping to pass her off as a mere associate or family friend. He believed Alicia wouldn't suspect, and Naomi wouldn't discover the mistress's true role. The plan was reckless, and soon would spark a scandal that no one could contain. Naomi Turner was a graceful woman of 27, often described by acquaintances as warm and refined. Having grown up in a middle-class home, she found Jason's billionaire lifestyle simultaneously thrilling and a bit overwhelming. Despite her occasional discomfort, she genuinely cherished his tender side, recalling how lovingly he'd proposed 2 years back under starry skies at a lakeside resort. Yet, since their marriage, Jason's unpredictable schedule expanded. He threw himself into business expansions, citing seizing the market. Naomi supported his ambitions wholeheartedly, wanting to see him shape the continent's tech future. When he came home late, she'd greet him with dinner or a midnight snack, chalking up any oddities to the price of success. So, when Jason announced they'd be going to a big birthday celebration that weekend, Naomi assumed it was for some business ally or investor. He was vague on details, simply praising the host's importance. Naomi asked, "Should I wear something formal or more relaxed?" Jason suggested she dress elegantly, though not too ostentatious. Naomi, smiling, all right. I'll pick a nice evening gown. It'll be good to meet your colleague. Jason, kissing her cheek, thank you for always supporting me, love. This event matters. We have to show up in style. Naomi prepared an understated but refined green gown that complemented her soft brown skin. She looked forward to a rare evening out with Jason, hoping for a chance to slow dance and reconnect. She missed him, his full presence, amid his constant busyness. Meanwhile, Jason felt knots in his stomach. He had told Alicia he'd arrive with a friend from the company, but Alicia pressed for reassurance. You promise it's not your wife, right? He lied, insisting, of course not. He felt guilt nibbling at him, but his pride insisted he could navigate the night without either woman learning the truth. Denzel, once he heard of Jason's plan, shook his head in disbelief. You want to bring your wife to your mistress's birthday? Are you insane? Jason insisted he had everything under control. Naomi doesn't suspect anything, he said breezily. Alicia won't guess Naomi is my wife. We'll just keep them apart. Denzel could only sigh, murmuring, I fear you're playing with fire. Indeed, the stage was set for an explosive collision. Alicia Brown was in her late 20s, known for hosting extravagant parties that drew celebrities, politicians, and entrepreneurs. She'd grown up in a wealthy family herself, used to attention and indulgences. Over the past few months, she had reveled in Jason's devotion. Fancy gifts, private dinners, and late-night laughter in her penthouse. In her mind, it was only a matter of time before Jason left his long-distance girlfriend, or whatever she was, to fully claim Alicia. Her birthday celebration would be the grandest yet. She rented a rooftop lounge at the top of a luxurious hotel, ordering neon decor, live music, and a red carpet entrance. High-profile guests received invites by courier, printed on glossy black cards. She bragged to girlfriends, Jason is paying for half the cost. He adores me. Alicia, grinning to her best friend. He promised me a special surprise tonight. Maybe even a ring. Isn't that exciting? Friend, sounds like you'll be the center of the universe. I can't wait to see what happens. Determined to stun everyone, Alicia commissioned a custom gold gown that clung to her figure, studded with crystals. She pictured the moment she'd appear at the top of the lounge's sweeping staircase, capturing every gaze, especially Jason's. The idea of him bringing a +1 from work barely registered as a threat. She reasoned that, in front of all these people, Jason wouldn't dare overshadow her or defy her claims of being his main partner. Days before the event, she rehearsed a short speech. She planned to toast her own achievements. She managed a high-end fashion line and hint at a potential wedding with Jason if he made the right choice. Alicia was too wrapped up in her fantasies to suspect the landmine about to detonate at her party. On the eve of the birthday, Alicia called Jason multiple times, reminding him not to be late. He reassured her, quietly hoping the two women never crossed paths. He told himself he'd keep Naomi busy on one side of the lounge while greeting Alicia quickly on the other side. It was risky, but he believed his charm could keep everything contained. Only time would prove how misguided he was. At sunset, Naomi dressed with extra care. She wore the green gown with a delicate silver necklace. Applying light makeup and pulling her hair into a sleek updo, she felt a flutter of excitement. She rarely attended high society gatherings, aside from Jason's official galas. Holding Jason's arm as they walked out, she smiled, ready for a glamorous night. Jason picked her up in his glossy black sports car. Through tinted windows, Naomi admired the city lights. He complimented her, "You look stunning," trying to project calm while his mind churned with anticipation. He double-checked his phone for Alicia's messages, ensuring she wasn't making last-minute demands. They arrived at the luxurious hotel, where valets escorted them up to the rooftop lounge. The air was alive with music and a gentle breeze under starlight. Neon decorations glowed in pink and gold, guests milling about in high-end attire. Naomi sensed an unusual vibe. People seemed less formal than a typical corporate gathering. She asked Jason quietly, "Are you sure these are your business associates?" Jason, clearing his throat, "Yes, well, it's a bit of a mix, you know. A private investor group, plus some socialites." They passed through a red carpet area, paparazzi snapping photos. Naomi smiled politely but felt uneasy. She noticed no official business signage, only a giant banner reading, "Happy Birthday, Alicia." She turned to Jason, puzzled. Wait, who was Alicia? Another sponsor? Jason, forcing a grin. She invests in some of my side projects. Let's not worry. We'll do a quick appearance, then we can leave. Naomi, unsuspecting, nodded. Denzel, already present, waved them over. He shot Jason a concerned look, but Jason pretended not to see it. The lounge was filled with chatter, laughter, and swirling waiters offering champagne. Naomi took a flute, sipping cautiously, scanning the lavish crowd. From across the room, Alicia spotted Jason entering. She wore her shimmering gold gown, a small tiara perched on her styled hair. Her eyes narrowed at the sight of an unfamiliar woman on Jason's arm. They locked gazes. Alicia's expression was a flicker of confusion, then a flash of annoyance. Jason tried to steer Naomi away, but Alicia was already sashaying toward them, a determined smile on her lips, ready to stake her claim. Alicia glided across the floor, guests parting like waves before her. Jason tensed, leaning to Naomi. I'll just greet Alicia quickly and come right back. Wait here with Denzel, all right? Before Naomi could respond, Jason slipped away to intercept Alicia. Alicia, quietly, eyes flashing. Jason, darling, you arrived. Finally. Who's that woman clinging to you? Jason, heart racing. She's just an associate from the company. We had a meeting earlier, and she tagged along. It's complicated. Alicia's brow furrowed. You brought a random coworker to my birthday? This is my night, Jason. You better not overshadow me with some random +1. She eyed Naomi in the distance with veiled hostility. Jason mustered a soothing tone. Don't fret. She won't stay long. Let me handle it. Alicia let out a small huff, then forced a dazzling smile as a group of admirers approached her. We'll talk more later, she told Jason, striding away to greet other guests, suspicious thoughts swirling in her mind. Meanwhile, Naomi stood by Denzel, who sipped from his glass with an air of nervousness. She asked softly, Denzel, do you know Alicia well? He shrugged uncomfortably. We've met a few times. She's close to Jason in some capacity. Naomi's eyebrows arched. I see. She's certainly commanding attention. Denzel nodded, inwardly wishing he could reveal the truth, but feeling it wasn't his place. Despite the lively music, Naomi felt a creeping sense of isolation. The crowd seemed more party-oriented than businesslike, with stylish women fawning over men in designer suits. She tried to remain poised, but an unsettled feeling gnawed at her. Something was off about how Alicia looked at her, as if scanning her for weaknesses. On a nearby balcony, Alicia's friend whispered, Who is that woman with Jason? She's quite pretty. Alicia forced a laugh. Oh, he said she's some colleague. Probably hoping to climb ranks by cozying up to him. The friend smirked. Could she be a threat? Alicia's eyes flicked with quiet fury. No. If she tries anything, I'll make sure she regrets it. Thus, the party continued under a veneer of glamour, but tension rippled underneath. Jason made small talk with other guests, glancing back at Naomi and Alicia, trying to keep them apart. Meanwhile, a discreet figure in the crowd, Rita Lawson, a journalist known for capturing sensational stories, observed the dynamic with keen interest, sensing drama brewing. As the night wore on, Alicia couldn't resist the magnetic pull of her suspicions. She approached Naomi directly, determined to gauge the nature of her relationship with Jason. Naomi, attempting to be gracious, extended a friendly smile. Naomi, softly hello, Alicia. Congratulations on your birthday. The decor is beautiful. Alicia sized Naomi up, her refined posture, the subtle glow in her eyes. Immediately, she felt threatened. This woman was no meek coworker, Alicia thought. She recognized a poise that suggested someone intimately close to Jason. Alicia, with an edge, thank you. I like to host in style. And you are, from Jason's company, he said. Naomi, confused, yes, well, I'm somewhat involved with his work, but mostly, I'm his. Before Naomi could continue, Alicia raised a hand. Look, darling, You don't have to pretend. I don't know what Jason told you, but he's here for me tonight. Don't cling to him or keep him away from me, okay? Naomi blinked, stunned by the rude tone. She tried to maintain courtesy. I'm not clinging to him. He invited me. I appreciate your hospitality. Alicia, hospitality? Huh. Just keep your distance, all right? This is my big night with Jason. Understood? Naomi felt a swirl of confusion and annoyance. She hardly knew Alicia, yet this woman spoke as if she owned Jason. Another wave of suspicion washed over Naomi, but she forced a calm nod. Sure, she said quietly. Elsewhere, Jason noticed them talking and moved quickly to intervene, but was intercepted by a business acquaintance. By the time he broke free, Alicia had already walked away, leaving Naomi unsettled. Denzel approached, noticing Naomi's rattled expression. She whispered her confusion to him. That Alicia? She spoke to me like I'm intruding. Denzel gulped, lacking a comforting response. If the conversation ended there, perhaps the night would have concluded in mild tension. But Alicia's jealous fury simmered, growing stronger each time she caught sight of Naomi's polite smile or witnessed Jason politely checking on his wife. Alicia decided that the colleague label had to be a lie. No colleague carried themselves with such quiet confidence around Jason. Something bigger was at play. Near midnight, Alicia summoned everyone to the center of the lounge for a grand toast. The neon lights dimmed, a soft spotlight illuminating her. Music faded to a hush as guests arranged themselves in a rough circle. At the front stood Alicia, radiant in her gold gown, a mic in hand. Alicia, raising a flute of champagne, thank you all for coming. Tonight celebrates another year of wonderful life, success in my fashion brand, and the promise of exciting changes ahead. People applauded. Alicia's eyes locked onto Jason, who stood next to Naomi with a forced smile. Alicia continued with a coy grin. I also want to thank a very special someone. The man who's made my heart flutter these past months. Jason, dear, come stand beside me. A ripple of whispers swept through the crowd. Naomi's heart lurched. She glanced at Jason, uncertain if she heard correctly. Jason stiffened, panic crossing his features. Denzel inhaled sharply. This was the moment of truth. Jason reluctantly stepped forward. Alicia took his hand, her voice brimming with pride. You, Jason Turner, have brought me so much joy. I can't wait to see how our future unfolds together. Gasps or murmurs of confusion rippled among some guests who recognized Jason was actually married. Naomi felt her knees weaken, her mind reeling. So Alicia is more than just a sponsor or investor. She's speaking as if she's intimately involved with him. She locked eyes with Denzel, who appeared stricken. Rita Lawson, the journalist, sensed an explosive scoop. She angled her phone's camera discreetly. Her instinct screamed that a scandal was about to break. Alicia, relishing the spotlight, continued, let's toast to love, success, and a life shared with the right person. She lifted her glass, and a fraction of the crowd joined in, though confusion abounded. Naomi's entire world spun. Realization dawned. Alicia was no business partner, but rather someone who believed she owned Jason's affection. Jason, pinned by the stage lights, could only muster a wan smile, half-heartedly echoing the toast. Alicia pressed her cheek to his in a fleeting, faux intimate gesture. People clapped politely, but tension crackled like static in the air. In that instant, Naomi felt betrayal crash over her. She put down her champagne flute, tears threatening to form. How could Jason do this? She thought. The party resumed its music, but everyone sensed the awkward shift. Alicia gazed triumphantly at Naomi, who stood alone, trembling from heartbreak. The fuse was lit. Only moments remained before the situation erupted into chaos. Naomi wanted answers. As the crowd dispersed back into conversations, she marched over to Jason, who had retreated to a corner, burying his face in a glass of whiskey. Denzel hovered, uneasy, but Naomi motioned him away. With a trembling voice, she confronted her husband. Naomi, Jason, who exactly is Alicia? Why is she acting like she owns you? Jason sighed, eyes downcast. Naomi, I can explain, but please not here. We'll talk at home. Naomi, voice rising, no. You'll tell me now. She just called you her future. I'm your wife, Jason. Does she even know that? Jason swallowed. She doesn't know I'm married. I told her you were a colleague. I'm sorry. I never wanted it to explode like this. Naomi's heart pounded at the admission. She felt anger and deep hurt. She tried to keep her composure, but the sense of betrayal overwhelmed her. How long, Jason? How long have you been seeing her behind my back? Before Jason could answer, Alicia reappeared, eyes flashing. She overheard enough to piece together the betrayal from her side. Her voice came out sharp as broken glass. You're his wife, she spat at Naomi. Naomi nodded, tears in her eyes, but chin raised. Alicia, Jason told me you were a nobody from the office. You're telling me you're his real wife? Naomi, yes. For 2 years, I've been living with him. You're the one who's intruding on our marriage. Alicia's fury ignited. She spun to Jason, hissing, You lied to me. You made me look like a fool at my own party. Jason stammered apologies, but Alicia refused to listen. The humiliation of discovering she'd been a mere mistress, overshadowed by a legitimate wife, set her ablaze with rage. The music continued thumping in the background, but some guests sensed trouble and began clustering, forming a silent audience. Denzel hovered at a distance, hands raised helplessly. Rita Lawson inched closer, phone camera discreetly capturing footage. Alicia, turning on Naomi, So you're the smug wife? Is this your little victory, humiliating me at my own birthday? Naomi, I had no idea who you were. Jason lied to both of us. Why turn your anger on me? Alicia's eyes brimmed with tears and anger. Because you've stolen my spotlight. And you, she whirled on Jason, led me on, made me believe I was your future bride. You worthless liar. Jason raised his hands, trying to pacify them. I never meant for it to come to this. Just calm down, both of you, please. But calm was impossible. Alicia, incensed and humiliated, felt her hands shake with adrenaline. She advanced on Naomi, ignoring a security guard's tentative protest. The tension soared, about to break in the worst way possible. Naomi, seeing Alicia's clenched fists, tried to step back. She had no desire for a physical fight, but Alicia, in her sequin-studded rage, lunged forward. She grabbed Naomi's flowing green gown near the neckline. Naomi, startled, Stop. What are you? With a loud rip, Alicia yanked downward. The delicate fabric tore, the sound slicing through the lounge's thumping music. Naomi gasped, stumbling as she felt her gown peel off her body. Shock seized the onlookers. Some cried out in alarm. Others whipped out phones to record. Naomi's eyes widened in horror as the gown, half shredded, fell away from her shoulders, bearing her bra. Another vicious tug from Alicia caused the remaining material to drop, leaving Naomi trembling in just her underwear, bra, and panties, amid a sea of stunned faces. Alicia, breathing hard, You want to humiliate me? I'll humiliate you first. For a heartbeat, time froze. Naomi stood nearly naked, arms wrapped around herself, tears flooding her cheeks. Jason, reeling from shock, darted forward to shield Naomi. Denzel rushed over, removing his suit jacket to drape around her trembling figure. Guests erupted into chaotic chatter, some capturing every moment with phone cameras. The neon lights flickered across Naomi's bare skin, intensifying the surreal horror. The music abruptly stopped when the DJ realized a full-scale altercation had erupted. Security personnel scrambled, though they were late to intervene. Rita Lawson, sensing the sensational angle, held her phone aloft, capturing partial video with trembling hands. She recognized the magnitude of this scandal. A billionaire's wife publicly stripped, the mistress fueled by jealousy. Jason turned to Alicia, face twisted with fury and shame. How could you do that? He shook his head in disbelief. Alicia, tears streaming, shot back. You lied to me about everything. This is your fault. She hurled the torn gown aside, chest heaving. Naomi collapsed against Denzel, sobbing uncontrollably. The humiliation felt unbearable, every inch of her body on display to these wealthy strangers. Denzel tried to comfort her, offering, "Let's get you out of here." She nodded frantically, desperate to escape the gawking crowd. The lounge's swirling neon and hushed voices bore witness to a painful, unstoppable meltdown. Alicia sank onto a bar stool, burying her face in her hands, as her own guests stared on in shock or disapproval. Meanwhile, Jason recognized the full scope of this catastrophe, cursing himself for orchestrating such a precarious lie. In that moment, no amount of wealth or cunning could undo the damage. Denzel and a security guard led Naomi out of the lounge, shielding her from the throng of phones capturing every second. They hurried to the elevator, Naomi clutching Denzel's jacket, tears streaming. Meanwhile, Jason trailed behind, calling her name. She refused to look at him. "Naomi," sobbed, "don't touch me. Don't even speak to me." She felt raw betrayal, the sting of her pride shredded along with her gown. The elevator ride down was silent, but for Naomi's ragged breathing. Once they reached the hotel lobby, Denzel found a private exit to avoid paparazzi, ushering Naomi into a courtesy car. She flinched from Jason's attempt to follow, and Denzel stepped between them, quietly telling Jason, "Let her calm down. You've done enough." Back on the rooftop, Alicia's grand birthday was ruined. Some guests discreetly left, not wanting to be tangled in scandal. Others lingered, whispering about the drama. Alicia, broken from her earlier rage, tried to maintain composure, but her tears smudged her carefully applied makeup. A close friend offered comfort, while security staff gently guided bystanders away from the epicenter of turmoil. Rita Lawson realized the scale of her footage. A near-nude wife, a violent mistress, a billionaire at fault. She quickly posted a cryptic tweet, "Huge scandal at Alicia Brown's birthday. Gown torn, tears, and secrets revealed. #breaking." Within minutes, her phone buzzed with thousands of notifications. She debated uploading the full video but paused. This was too explosive. She might sell it to a bigger media house, or break it with strategic timing. Jason eventually found Alicia sulking in a corner, meltdown tears drying. He confronted her with subdued anger. "You went too far. You humiliated her in front of everyone." Alicia glared, retorting, "What about me? You humiliated me by lying about your marriage." They stood in tense silence, each cursing the other. Alicia, voice cracking, "You cost me my reputation. I loved you, or at least believed we had a future. Now everyone sees me as a villain." Jason, "You tore Naomi's gown to shreds. You assaulted her." Alicia laughed bitterly. "She deserved it for being married to you, for lying to me." Jason, fuming, "She never lied to you." "I did." Alicia, "You crossed a line I can't forgive." Security signaled that the police might be informed of an assault complaint, but Naomi had left without pressing charges. The once lively lounge fell quiet, each corner resonating with whispered shock. Alicia's big night ended in a swirl of scandal, heartbreak, and shattered illusions. By morning, the incident overtook social media. Rita Lawson, among others, posted photos and short clips revealing Naomi's humiliating moment. While some footage blurred the more explicit parts, enough detail showed Naomi's near-nude form, cowering in embarrassment. Online commentary exploded. City Observer, "Billionaire's wife left in underwear at Mistress's party? This is insane." #torn dress. Feminist Fortune, "Violence against women is never okay. Alicia must answer for her attack." #Justice for Naomi. @BizDaily Leaks, "Jason Turner's double life. Wife confronted by mistress? Stockholders, watch out." Hashtags including #Naomi's gown, #birthday betrayal, and #mistress meltdown trended across platforms. Some ridiculed Alicia's meltdown. Others demanded accountability for the assault. Yet more hammered Jason for orchestrating the fiasco by lying to both women. Naomi, safely back at her penthouse, refused to speak with Jason. She locked herself in a guest room, ignoring his pleas through the door. She scrolled through social media, tears returning each time she saw mocking or pitying posts about her exposed figure. Some comments were sympathetic, but many intruded on her privacy. "We want the full video," or "She must have known about the affair." She felt raw, violated, uncertain how to face the world. Alicia, confronted with thousands of hateful messages, shut off her phone. She told close friends that she was defending herself from a lying couple, but privately felt the sting of losing public admiration. Her name, once equated with glamorous parties, was now synonymous with savage violence. She considered releasing statements blaming Jason, but her PR advisor insisted she lay low and let the furor die down. Meanwhile, Denzel spent the morning calling crisis PR firms on Jason's behalf, hoping to salvage the billionaire's reputation. Investors panicked at the negative press, threatening to pull out if he didn't handle this scandal quickly. Jason's empire wobbled. He told Denzel, "I might lose everything, but Naomi is who I truly care about now. I've wronged her horribly." Denzel advised him to fix things with Naomi first, then address the business fallout. Rita Lawson, sitting in a busy newsroom, analyzed the views her partial coverage had generated. She debated releasing a longer piece, maybe an exposé featuring interviews with party guests, further fueling the story. She recognized that Naomi's voice was missing, no official statement from the victim. Would Naomi speak out or vanish from the public eye? Thus, the stage was set for each player to decide how to weather the storm. Naomi grappling with heartbreak, Alicia facing backlash, Jason attempting to salvage not only his brand but also what remained of his marriage. Naomi barely ate or slept in the days following the party. She replayed the humiliation, the ripping sound, the cameras, the laughter or gasps from onlookers. She also felt deep betrayal from the man she trusted above all others. The emotional weight pressed heavily on her, morphing from raw anguish into a simmering anger. She refused to speak with Jason, ignoring him when he paced outside the guest room door, begging for a conversation. She found small relief in calls from supportive friends, some of whom offered her a place to stay if she needed an exit. Her mother, living in another city, tried to coax her to come home, but Naomi hesitated. She wasn't ready to face curious relatives. Naomi, on the phone with a friend, "I feel so exposed, not just physically, but my whole marriage is out there for mockery. Friend, you did nothing wrong. Don't let them shame you." That Alicia had no right. Naomi recognized the friend's truth, but the shame lingered. She scrolled social media, reading messages of solidarity. #Justice for Naomi was filled with voices condemning Alicia's assault. Some people compared the incident to other episodes of violence or humiliation in high society, calling for Naomi to press charges. A new wave of empathy lifted her spirits slightly. Deep down, she wrestled with a decision. Should she stay with Jason or leave? The marriage felt tainted. Could love survive such betrayal? She recalled precious memories, traveling to the coast for their honeymoon, joking over midnight snacks. Yet, that Jason was also the man who silently paraded her into a mistress's domain, risking her dignity. One evening, she emerged from the guest room, tears dried. She found Jason dozing on the couch, shoulders slumped. She stood quietly, arms crossed, waiting until he stirred. He woke, blinking in surprise to see her. "Naomi," steady tone, "we need to talk." Jason, voice hoarse, "Yes, please." I'm so sorry." She raised a hand. "First, answer one question. Do you love me, or was I just a convenient figure for your business image?" Jason's eyes filled with regret. "Naomi, I do love you. My affair with Alicia was a terrible mistake. I got caught up in excitement, lost my sense. I never meant to humiliate you." She stared, tears threatening but controlled. "Then why risk bringing me to her party? Why lie to both of us?" "Jason, I was scared." She insisted I come, and I hoped it'd just be a quick show, no conflict. I was a coward. Naomi listened, letting silence linger. She eventually spoke, voice trembling. "I don't know if I can ever trust you again, but I do know I won't be the one cast aside or stripped of dignity." With that statement, she turned back to the guest room. Jason stared after her, understanding that winning her forgiveness might prove harder than any business deal. Naomi, shutting the door, felt a flicker of empowerment for the first time since the fiasco began. While Naomi weighed her future, Alicia faced unrelenting public wrath. She lost invitations to high-profile events, and her social media following plummeted. Sponsors for her fashion line, threatened to cut ties if she didn't rectify the negative coverage. Under pressure, Alicia's PR team drafted an apology statement. She balked at first, feeling more victim than perpetrator, but realized continuing defiance would ruin her entirely. She recorded a brief video. Alicia, staring at the camera, I deeply regret the incident at my birthday party. Emotions ran high, and I acted out of anger. To Naomi Turner, I offer my sincere apology. Violence is never the solution. It sounded stiff, but her team posted it across all platforms. Reactions were mixed. Some found it hollow, others welcomed a hint of contrition. Meanwhile, rumors swirled that Alicia might face a lawsuit from Naomi. Rita Lawson, the journalist, commented in an online column, "While Alicia's apology is overdue, the real question is whether Naomi will seek legal action for the assault." For now, the Turner family remains silent. Jason recognized the potential meltdown for his business. Investors demanded a press conference clarifying the scandal. Publicly, he took responsibility. "I am deeply sorry for the chaos my personal mistakes caused. My wife, Naomi, deserves respect, and Alicia Brown likewise was misled by me." He tried to mend fences, but the damage to his brand was significant. Some smaller shareholders sold off their stakes, uncertain if the negative press might harm the company's future. Naomi, in the privacy of her suite, watched Jason's press conference on TV, expression unreadable. She also caught Alicia's apology snippet online. The acts rang hollow, but at least they acknowledged her suffering. She considered filing a police report but hesitated, feeling emotionally drained. Denzel, loyal as ever, urged her to do what felt right for her own healing. Denzel, on a phone call to Naomi, "If pressing charges helps you find closure, you have every right. But do what's best for your well-being." Naomi remained undecided. Part of her wanted accountability, but another part wished to move on from the pain. She prayed for clarity, aware that each choice carried consequences for her mental and emotional health. One bright note was the widespread sympathy from strangers on social media, encouraging her to reclaim her power. That public support provided a small balm against the deep cuts inflicted by betrayal. Weeks passed. The scandal's initial fury subsided, replaced by fresh gossip in the media cycle. Yet for those directly involved, the consequences echoed. Alicia's social circle shrank. She laid low, hoping time would heal her battered reputation. Jason spent long days repairing investor relations, holding private meetings to assure them his personal fiasco wouldn't derail professional success. Naomi found a surprising sense of strength blossoming after the humiliating night. She reconnected with old friends, took up a volunteer role at a women's shelter, and realized how many women endured betrayals or public humiliations. Instead of retreating into shame, she discovered an inner resilience. Emboldened by the hashtag Justice for Naomi wave, she decided to speak publicly, just once, about the incident. At a small community forum focusing on dignity and respect in relationships, she addressed a modest audience. Cameras rolled, capturing her calm poise. "Naomi, softly, I never expected to be stripped of my gown or dignity in front of a crowd. No one deserves that violation. I'm not seeking revenge, but I do hope everyone learns from this. Transparency in relationships is vital, and no human being should be treated as a disposable accessory." Her words resonated, generating supportive headlines. Her self-assured stance drew praise from activists championing women's rights. Journalists noted how she carried herself with grace, refusing to let that night define her. The next day, hashtag We Stand With Naomi trended anew, though for a more uplifting reason: her message of healing and empowerment. At home, Jason listened to her speech's recording, tears stinging his eyes. He approached Naomi with humility, acknowledging how her self-respect triumphed over his treachery. "Jason, voice trembling, I don't know if our marriage can be saved, but I'm ready to do anything to earn back a shred of your trust." Naomi gazed at him. "I won't pretend it's easy to forgive, but I refuse to let bitterness run my life. We can attempt counseling if you're serious, or we can part ways if you're not committed." Jason nodded, a flicker of relief. "I'll do whatever it takes. You have my word." They embarked on a quiet path of counseling, acknowledging the scars might never fully fade. Meanwhile, Alicia vanished from the public eye, rumored to have left the city temporarily. Rita Lawson wrote a reflective piece praising Naomi's courage, concluding that, in a scandal that showed the worst of betrayal and violence, Naomi Turner's composure reminded us that dignity can arise from despair. Thus, life moved forward. Naomi began rediscovering passions, perhaps launching a small consultancy for image rehabilitation or supporting women who faced humiliations. The torn gown fiasco remained a cautionary tale in social circles, cautioning others about secrecy and arrogance. In the end, the humiliating birthday event became a pivot point for Naomi, transforming her from a trusting wife overshadowed by deceit into a symbol of resilient womanhood. Although the memory of that night still stung, she found a renewed sense of self-worth, forging a future on her own terms, whether Jason was part of it or not. And in quiet corners of the city, people still whispered about the young billionaire and his mistress's birthday. But the final legacy belonged to Naomi, a woman who rose above shreds of cloth to stand proud in her unbreakable spirit. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like this video and share it with others who would love it too. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next tale. Your support means the world to us. See you in the next story.